London, Holloway, and it was originally called the Home for Lost and Starving Dogs. We moved to our present site near Battersea Park Station in 1871 after noise complaints in Holloway. It was a bit of a residential area. The home's now surrounded by train lines and nestles between the infamous power station and gasworks, so now much more less likely to cause any disturbance to the local residents. Mrs Tealby had a fight on her hands to establish the home initially. Considering the times, basically people were starving, let alone dogs, so there was a bit of public backlash for it. She was a divorced woman, didn't have much money, but it was one of the things she cared about, and it's what she wanted to do. So amongst all the criticism, Mrs Tealby and her work did have some supporters. Charles Dickens was one of the most famous supporters, and he did write a positive article about the home, which led to some support and meant the home could continue doing what it needed to do. Mary Tealby died just 5 years after she opened the home, but the structure she set up and the support she got meant that the home could continue. The home always had royal support, initially from Queen Victoria, who donated money regularly to her, onto her son, Prince Leopold, and who rehomed a dog, all the way through to the present day, where we have Queen Elizabeth as our patron currently. This is basically some pictures of the home when it was initially set up in Battersea. On the top left is a place called the Whittington Lodge, which is still in existence today. So we've got all the modern buildings and the arches, and that's still sitting there in the middle of the quad. This was designed by Clough Williams Ellis, and it was built initially to house cats. He was also the designer architect of the town Portmeirion in Wales, which was the backdrop for the TV show The Prisoner, which, as I said before, there's probably not many people here who remember that 60s show. Whittington Lodge is still in use today, is used as offices. On the bottom left is a picture of the home which shows some of the outdoor housing and the railway arches used to house a dog. We still use some of the arches today as well. We kind of converted them to housing and offices and so on. In the middle is one of our old vans, checking out the daily intake of dogs. A member of the veterinary team in the white coat is there checking the dog in. On the right hand side is a member of the veterinary team giving the dog its first check over on its arrival to the home, which this still happens today, every animal that we take into the site. Right, so basically we continued working throughout the war. So when it first opened, the workforce mainly consisted of men, as walking, cleaning and daily husbandry was considered men's work. During the war, many of the men were called for duty, and therefore this left openings for women to come and work with the animals. Today, Battersea is a total flip around. It is predominantly female workforce. However, there has been an increase in recent years in the number of women working at the home. During the war, the home remained open and did see an influx of dogs and cats arriving, strays and abandoned dogs and stuff due to the bombings and so on. So, more recent times, we did acquire 2 other sites, one in Old Windsor in 1979 and here in Brands Hatch in 1999. Our purpose of opening the satellite sites was to ensure we were able to cater for all the strays within the London area. Also, many of the animals arriving at Battersea didn't cope very well in the inner city environments and would find the kennel cattery life very stressful up in London. So this, coupled with the fact that many of the animals were also looking for semi-rural, rural homes as part of their assessments, and the 2 satellite sites tend to attract that type of home. In 2005, we changed our logo to its current one with the cat and the dog, just to reflect that the home was also taking in cats as well as dogs. We actually started taking in cats about 10 years after we originally started with dogs, but it wasn't a very well-known fact, so we decided to change the logo and sort of advertise it a bit differently. So Battersea aims, so it's a charity, so we try and not turn away any dog or cat that needs our help. We reunite any lost dogs and cats with their owners. We've got a dedicated lost dogs and cats line. If a dog's not reunited with their owner, then they go up for adoption through us. We also, as part of that, we try to educate the public about responsible pet ownership. So we tell them about neutering the dogs, about microchipping them, and basically being able to take care of them on a day-to-day basis. So statistics-wise, in 2010 we cared for around 6,000 dogs and 2,500 cats. On average, the home receives 17 dogs, 7 cats per day. Both dogs and cats stay on average about 30 days before finding a new home. Dogs tend to stay a bit longer, just because of the amounts of the different breeds and so on, and what people are looking for. They're a bit trickier sometimes to rehome. You can get some tricky cats, but to date we've taken in over 3 million dogs and cats since sort of 1860. So in 2010 we also welcomed over 75,000 visitors across our sites. So dogs basically and cats arrive one of two ways: as strays on the van, picked up from either local authorities, from the dog wardens, or they're donated into us through gifts. So there can be many different reasons they can come into us: relationship breakdowns, change of circumstances, rented accommodation, just can't afford it anymore, change in financial. Maybe they've had to go back to work, so the dog or cat's been left all day on its own where it wasn't before, so it starts to get any sort of behavioural issues that start to come out. Once the dog or cat comes in, it's examined by our veterinary team to make sure it's healthy, it hasn't any issues. We don't need to do anything with it. It doesn't need to have any sort of medication or treatment as soon as it comes in. We try and complete all the paperwork, so we've got a record of when the dog came in, where it was found, a good description of what it looks like if it was a lost dog or cat. We try and put that on the database as well, because people are contacting us 24 hours a day for their lost dogs and cats, so we try and get that information on there as quickly as possible so we can reunite the dog or cats with their owners. Settled into the warm kennel and cats into the cat pen, and then from day one, the minute they get into us, we're monitoring their health and behaviour, just to make sure there's no sort of problems that are occurring with it. So as soon as any lost dogs and cats arrive at home, they're logged into the database. We do an internal loss report is completed, and we try and encourage the owners to use a lost dog or cat kit online. So if someone rings us and we haven't got it, there is a kit available online that they can fill in. It's got posters, information, place numbers of people to ring that they might have the dog or cat. We also work closely with dog wardens and national lost animal databases to keep up to date. We also check every dog and cat come in, see if they're microchipped, so we can rehome them, reunite them with their owners that way. So in 2010 we reunited 25% of stray dogs and 6% of stray cats with their owners. All stray animals are kept for 7 days. That's the legislation that you have to keep them for, so give the owner a chance to find it, basically. Once they've completed the 7 days, then they'll have behavioural assessments and they'll go up for rehoming through us. Even if the owner comes in after the 7 days, we'll still reunite the dog or cat with them. So to get a permanent home for the dog or cat, we had to put the dog or the cat through a behavioural temperament assessment. So we usually try and do that on 7 days for the strays, on 5 days for the gifts that come in. We also interview any potential homes, so they come in and they explain what the home life's like, how many adults, how many children, the ages, where the house is, how big's the garden, is the fencing secure, if it's a flat, is there a balcony, have you got a cat flap, what their experience is with the animals, have they had cats or dogs before, have they dealt with issues, have they had particular breeds. It's quite sort of an intensive interview that we try and give to people, because we try and make sure what they want. It's not just a kind of whim that we've kind of just been driving past. We try and get them to think seriously about what they want, how they're going to support the dog and the cat, and how they're going to take care of it. When we actually do the behavioural assessment on the cat, we do a profile of the type of home that we think would be suitable for the dog and cat before they go home. From that, we kind of match the people with the cat or the dog. So if it's a good match, we tend to get less dogs and cats returned to us. Some rescues, you go in, just pick whatever you want and walk out the door, pay the money, and that's it. That's the end of it. That doesn't always work out. People do that quite a lot of the time on looks. They don't understand the breed. They haven't had much experience. They might have had animals when they were children. They haven't had animals for like 20 years. And it's a bit of a shock to them. So we try and go through all of that in our interview. So they're fully armed, fully worn before they take an animal home, so we don't get any surprises. We charge basically £105 for a dog, doesn't matter size, age, breed, pedigree, doesn't matter, all pay the same size, same price, also the same for the cats. On average across the home we home 8 dogs, 7 cats on a daily basis. Try and give any advice and behaviour programmes as part of that process as well. We do get some dogs that show potential for working homes, so we get quite a varied sort of breed: spaniels, labs, collies, German shepherds, Dobermans, Rottweilers, anything like that. Shooting, gun dogs. Basically, as part of the potential for work that we're trying to look, we kind of see what they're like in kennels. We do the walking and training on a daily basis, see if they kind of show an aptitude for any certain thing, like looking for balls, got a good recall, like to play search games, very into the food, very into their toys, which helps with the motivation. We try and keep up appropriate contacts across sort of like the country with rescues. We kind of do working dogs with the army, with the police, prisons, customs. A lot of people are looking for dogs that do agility and obedience working trials with. Again, there are also like there's people come in like game wardens looking for shooting gun dogs, and also sometimes we provide dogs for deaf people, blind people, and I think we also do pet dogs as well, go into hospitals and things like that for give people the opportunity basically to have a bit of comfort with a dog or a cat. We also try and keep in contact with particular breed rescues across the country. Some breeds are quite difficult to rehome, to pet homes, look nice and cute, but they need people who know to understand the breed, know what they're doing, how to handle them, and to basically observe them on a day-to-day basis. So we try and keep good contacts with any breeds rescues across the country. So some of the breed rescues, yeah, as it says at the bottom, there's Dobermans, Bulldogs, Mastiffs, Akitas, English Bull Terriers, Huskies and Boxers. The funding side of things, which is probably part of this, the reason you're here today, as it says, it receives no sort of government funding. We spend around £13 million each year across all 3 sites